Hello, lovely ones. So nice to connect once again. This is Joy Truscott, and this is a little segment that I like to call Talking Energy. When we come back to everything, we can just understand and interpret our life and every aspect of our journey as energy. And if we get to learn the language of energy, we are able to access so much more. So tuning in just to the phrases that we say and speak and these little subtle nuances or old sayings or old patterns that we keep repeating, tuning into them and start looking and investigating into them and asking ourselves, what is the energy in this? And once we start to do that, once we begin to really look into the tone and the energy of the language that we are using just so coincidentally and so by the way and not paying attention and knowing that it is actually creating an impact in our life. So we really wish to become more mindful and more aware of what we're saying and how we're saying it and why we are saying it. So let's unwrap that a little bit, because this is a fabulous topic. And it came to me through a darling friend of mine, and we were talking about this exact thing, our phrases and what we say. And this dear soul told me that one of his favorite sayings was, "Oh, I'm just putting out fires here and there." So if someone asked him, "How are you doing?" that was his kind of go-to phrase. "Well, I'm just putting out fires here and there." So if you could just say that, it's just like, oh, it's what people say. It's got, it's just a saying. There you go. No big deal on it. Except in this darling friend's life, actually, the place where he was holding his meditation, he had lit a candle, and then he had finished his connection, his session in that space, and he left the room, and he went to another part of his property, and for some reason this little flame decided that this space was now going to erupt in flame, and a lot of fire damage. And then he found himself standing there with a hose eventually, after a lot of running and doing and trying to work it out, big flames with a hose, and he literally put out the fire himself with a garden hose. So there you go, putting out fires here and there. And we could just let this go. It's just like, oh, they're not connected and they don't match. But I love the way this darling friend of mine thinks about everything and processes and understands things and starts to work out, well, what is this and is there a significance? And if we could imagine that everything we are saying is going into the energy field, it doesn't just get lost. It doesn't just drop from our lips and then go nowhere. It is a frequency, and we know what happens with frequency. If we imagine we take the drop and we drop it into a still pond, it creates a ripple, and we can see all these beautiful pictures of sound waves and heartbeats and the waves of energy. Energy and sound creates a pattern. It creates a something into the space that we're in. So what we are saying is not idle just mentioning something or idle chit-chat. It is for us to create in. It's a field that we literally can create in, because we have the power to imagine and create, open up this heart and call in something. But what we've been doing for the longest time is we're not been calling in from our heart, not connecting to the heart. We just pick up these stupid sayings that have been handed down in our family. You made your bed, you lie in it, life's not a bed of roses. Oh, there's so many of those. I bet you if you go and tickle around in your family stories, you'll hear masses of those. And we say them without thinking about it at all. And then we start noticing that some things are happening in the reality world of ours, and that we are literally being into that experience, figuratively being in that experience, and we are being shown what we are saying, and shown what we are saying so we can see that we have the power to create with the vibration and the sound and the words that we are sending out from ourselves. So the mindfulness now is required. Why more than now than ever before? So this is my own sense of what that is. But in what I feel and energetically feel is that for a long time we've had like a spongy, almost like a little forgiveness spongy layer around us that has allowed us to say what we say and do what we say without feeling a massive impact of it. Not everyone, a lot of people are feeling massive impacts from what they're saying, but there's been a little bit like a little bit of a grace in this space. But you can imagine how many people are in this world and how much is being said that is a distortion, and that is not true, not valid, not kind, not gracious. So there is so much more of the static going into the field that can no longer contain it. And literally the field that is supposed to be picking up the little sponges of all these little things and soaking it in and helping to protect us, I think we're wearing it away. We've worn out our welcome mat with this space, this little protective field, and it's opening up not only for us to become more aware, but also for us to move through this sort of thicker static layer into a higher frequency. So in both ways it's helping us. It's helping us by releasing us from this container idea into a higher frequency. And it's also bringing us an awareness that what we're saying and plugging in is going to bounce back to us, like it's going to reflect back to us. So just be mindful now what you're saying and what you're doing. So now I had to catch myself as well with this. And I thought, oh my gosh, this was so much for me. And perhaps this will be something that you can also connect into. But in the struggle that there's been a struggle in my family, and people have been saying, how's one of my family members? And my answer has been, this darling one is really battling. And then I thought, oh my gosh, what am I actually saying? I'm putting energy into the space of this is a battle, this is a struggle, instead of saying something wonderful like, this sweet soul is in the most incredible transformational process right now, or going through an incredible transformation, or something that is more energy aligned and more intuitive and more connected to what I do know is possible. I was deflating and defeating and pushing the energy down by creating a battlefield of it. Ugh! And when I got that message to myself, it felt like a bit of a shock. It's like, ooh, gosh, that's really sticky, icky. Then just go one step deeper. So if you're going to play this energy detective and you're going to really start investigating your words, not just your words, but what is the energy in them? And what is the buy-in of my energy? So here, this is my buy-in of the energy. When I say that this darling one is really battling, what I'm saying to the other, I want you to feel sorry for me being in this situation. That's a hard thing to admit, isn't it? So humbling. I want the other person to say, oh shame, I'm so sorry. How awful it is for you and for your family, or whatever that thing is, to bring me some comfort. So there is a seeking for comfort and kindness, but really what I'm doing in speaking like this, I'm pushing that person into that place of having to stand there and say, I'm so sorry, shame, isn't that awful? And when they're doing that kind of energy, because that's what I'm literally asking for, then what I'm doing is I'm like the little dog that's receiving the pat on the head. It's okay, you'll manage, you'll find a way. I'm sure your family's going to all be okay, blah, blah, blah. And it's like this being little pat on the head, little comfort. This is not a good energy. This is not the energy we want to play in, because it puts us in a lower frequency. We dropped ourself. I had dropped myself into a lower vortex, in a place of, oh, this is heavy, this is hard, this is difficult. While that might be a truth, I don't want to place it into the vibration of the possibilities. I want to speak into the space of endless possibilities and potential, this energy of transformation and abundance and flowing and health and wellness, ease. I want to activate that. But when I did this, I was not in that activation energy. I had suppressed it and I had depressed it. And there was a heaviness in my heart. The heaviness too hard to create something else, because all I could think about in that time was heaviness. And the words shame, and we in South Africa, oh my gosh, we use it all the time. Someone tells you a story, we all go, oh, shame. It's ridiculous. I don't think other parts of the world do that, but we're really good at it in South Africa. So shame is the lowest frequency that we can connect into. Those of you who have read the book Power versus Force by, I always want to, I know the last name is Hawkins. I always muddle up the first name, but the last name is Hawkins. Power versus Force, and he calibrates frequency. And so shame, in his idea of the calibrations, is the lowest frequency of them all. So can we hear how we just drop these energy vortices into the low place by simply stating how I was stating this was a way of not amplifying but depleting energy. All right, so I had to think with that a little bit and sit with that and feel it and go like, I get it. Don't like to get it, but I get it. So what do I do with this now? How do I find another way to honor the struggle that is happening? And there's no denying that there is not a struggle. There is a struggle going on right now. But to see the struggle as something that is of value to us, if we can find a way through it to open our energy and to come into a much higher frequency and to amplify the energy. So here is the trick now. Is in the moments of when someone is saying to you, how is it going for you with this? Or how is it going in your work or your job? Or how is it going with a family member? When we respond, let's challenge ourselves now to respond in a way that leaves the space open for amplification of energy, not for the depressing of the energy. And become very clear of what it is that you want to get out of the connection with the other. What do you want to get from the one with whom you are sharing this news? And be clear about this, because if you want a pity party, then the energy drops into pity. Pity is a very low frequency. It's the shame, pity, blame energy frequency. It's not the right place for us to play in. It doesn't give the other person an opportunity either to feel this immense alignment through the heart towards what it is that you want to dream in. If my answer was, oh my gosh, this darling one in my family is going through such an amazing and immense transformational process right now, and it's something absolutely breathtaking to see and witness, and it's really calling on every part of us to step into a higher place to witness it alongside this darling one. So if we could say something in that line, and say it in your own way, but say it in a way that is truth, and that is for me my truth. That is what I truly want. And then I give the other person an opportunity to go, oh my gosh, this is great. I'm going to align with you. We join our hearts. And we then have got not just one heart going, oh, this will be great if this is going to bring a deep, profound healing wellness instead of a energy. Then this person is joining me. And then this person has an opportunity to join me as well. And we start collaborating as fields of energy towards that which we want to amplify. Isn't it a wonderful, tiny, subtle tweak? Tiny. I could have missed it in a moment, and I would have missed a massive opportunity. So here's my vow declaration here in this moment. Absconded from my vocabulary is the way that I've been responding. And my response will be different now, and it will be in a different way. And I challenge you all to find these little nuances, these little places of depleting energies that we claim and place ourselves into. And we place ourselves in this low, sad, depressed, needing comfort, must be helped because I'm too weak and too pathetic. We're not weak, we're not pathetic. We are fabulous beings of light and love, and we have immense power. And when we stand together and activate this energy, oh my gosh, we can do so much. So I know I can say a lot more about this, but let's just hold it there. Let's hold this energy in a different way. And may the people in your lives, all those with whom you share your life journey, may they all come into wellness and flow and ease and abundance and laughter and happiness. May we open our hearts of great compassion and hold each other with such high integrity for the honoring of the person for the journey they're in, to truly honor them for the journey that they're in, because there, by the grace of God, go I. I thank you, my darling ones in my life, who are doing the journey that you are doing, and that means I don't have to do it. Oof. Okay, now I have to stop talking because the heart just wants to be open into the space. Tears start running. With all my heart, with all my soul, may we be well, may we find our strength, may we step into the alignment of who we truly are, powerful beings of light and love. So much love to you all, my darlings. Namaste. Thank you for you. Lovely you.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit